The verdict was stunning. When the jury foreman uttered the words "not guilty," a nation erupted. Some celebrated, others felt a profound sense of injustice. How could the same set of facts lead to two such diametrically opposed conclusions? Today on Behind the Verdict, we're not just retelling the story. We're going back into the deliberation room. We will dissect the reasons why the jury delivered its shocking ruling in the Caylee Anthony trial, and we will explore: did the jury truly get it wrong? Let's start with the undisputed facts. In 2008, the disappearance and eventual death of 2-year-old Caylee Anthony rocked the country. Her mother, Caylee Anthony, initially lied about her daughter's whereabouts, claiming she was with a nanny. The prosecution argued this was a calculated cover-up by a mother who allegedly killed her child to pursue a carefree life. The defense offered a radically different and equally shocking narrative. The evidence was confusing, the details were gruesome, and the public pressure was immense. But ultimately, the fate of Caylee Anthony rested on the shoulders of 12 jurors. Let's examine the evidence the prosecution relied on for a conviction. First, the smell of decomposition. The prosecution focused heavily on the foul odor in Caylee's car trunk, presenting testimony from experts and even family members. However, the defense successfully countered that the state could not definitively prove the source of the smell was human decomposition, only some decomposition. Second, the duct tape. A piece of duct tape was found near Caylee's remains. The prosecution claimed it was proof of murder, but the defense planted doubt, suggesting the tape could have been applied after the body was dumped, or that the decomposition itself could have been misinterpreted. The fundamental issue here was the state's reliance on circumstantial evidence. They couldn't establish how or when the child died, which is crucial for proving murder. When an argument is too circumstantial, it can lead to confusion and reasonable doubt among jurors. The defense's strategy was masterful in its simplicity: establish reasonable doubt. They presented a shocking counter-narrative that Caylee had drowned in the family pool, and that her grandfather, George Anthony, disposed of the body, fearing a police investigation. They claimed Caylee's lies were due to a deeply dysfunctional and abusive family environment. The defense didn't need to prove this counter-narrative was true. They only needed to make the jury think, what if? This case perfectly illustrates the burden of proof. The defense successfully shifted the focus away from Caylee's dishonesty and onto the lack of clarity regarding the cause and time of death. In criminal law, if there's a reasonable explanation, even a shocking one that contradicts the prosecution's theory, a juror must vote not guilty. What the public saw was a mother who lied, but what did the jury legally see? The judge's instructions to the jury were clear. To convict Caylee of first-degree murder, they had to unanimously agree that the killing was premeditated. Without direct evidence of how the killing occurred, establishing premeditation became virtually impossible. Reports from the deliberation room later confirmed this. Jurors were deeply divided but ultimately concluded that while they believed Caylee was involved in the death and subsequent cover-up, the prosecution had not met the legal standard for murder. The evidence was simply insufficient to prove intent beyond a reasonable doubt. The final verdict was delivered, but the question lingers. Does this verdict reflect justice, or does it simply reflect a failure to prove the truth beyond a reasonable doubt? Perhaps the jury didn't fail the law. Perhaps the law simply required more evidence than the state could ever provide. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the verdict was legally sound based on the evidence presented? And do you think the intense media scrutiny impacted the jury's ability to remain impartial? Don't forget to subscribe to Behind the Verdict and hit the bell for our deep dive analysis into the next case. Thank you for watching.